Dude, doesn't that rip?
You're an idiot.
No, you're an idiot.
Welcome back, incels. Glad to have you here yet again on the You're an Idiot podcast. I'm Alex Dragovich with my esteemed co-host, Geoffrey Osmus.
Oh my God, incels. Yeah, we might as well build a brand. We might as well decide. That's who most of our listeners are. If you're an incel, let us know and tell us which woman made you an incel in your life. Why? If it was Melissa, Melinda, it might have been mine. We don't know.
What we can do to take her down.
We also have a guest who's not an incel today, or he might be. We'll find out. Well, what's our guest's name, Drago? I love hearing you pronounce it.
Gianmarco Soresi.
There we go.
Brilliant.
You were a little...
That nerved me out, man. That nerved me out.
You were almost as nervous as when Ismail was on. You were really.
This one you can fuck up a little more.
Yeah, you're allowed to fuck up an Italian name. It's allowed. I feel like.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I just call him Ish. That's all I do now.
Yeah.
Ismail.
Ishmael.
Yeah,
I don't really know. Yeah.
What's the worst that you've ever gotten on a fuck up?
I get Scorsese. I get a lot.
That's like they think you're Scorsese's like grandson.
Yeah, and then I'm like, if I have a Scorsese's grandson, why the fuck am I?
Why am I
at the loony bin
cupboard?
in Oklahoma City?
Yeah, why am I at the loony bin? Right.
And Giancarlo. I just get Giancarlo all the time. From people who've known me for long amounts of time. That's the thing.
Really?
I don't care though.
Yeah, I know.
You can't go around your whole life worrying about that shit.
It doesn't
matter.
matter.
Did you ever have any nicknames growing up? Like, is everyone shorting any?
Yeah,
I feel like that's got to be a no-brainer. No?
When I started high school, at a new high school, I was in a Goth phase.
Yeah,
like a very light Goth phase. I got into a summer camp where the Goth girls were they'd kiss you.
Oh,
and so I was like, I'm Goth. Yeah, and I started. So I went by G.
Yeah.
But I learned.
What's wrong with G?
Well,
G.
Once you start it, you can never. If I see people from my high school, they still call me G.
Oh.
You can never escape a shorter nickname.
Yeah.
So now
true.
I don't let some people. I don't like people go. Can I call you something else?
Of course.
Can I call you something shorter? And I go no.
Yeah.
It's not a hard name. Just say Gianmarco.
Tova calls me.
It's a good name.
Gianni, and my dad calls me Gianni. And Tova's like the first person.
Is that like an Italian? That's like a nice way to do it. Yeah.
We're not that Italian though.
Yeah,
it's all fake. My dad lied about all of it.
Really?
Also, Gio's not very good either.
Gio's.
I thought Gigi. Gigi's kind of fun. Luigi. I like Gigi's fun. I like that. I don't know why. I got called that sometimes, so that might be why.
Maybe a Mark at some point.
That's my dad, so that's out of it.
That's out of it. Dad's
when I get the Starbucks, I'm Mark or I'm John.
Do your
Mark
dad
is great
lied about being
Starbucks.
Italian?
Yeah, he raised me thinking he would say we're 100% Italian.
Yeah.
At the early age before I could rationally do the fractions and go, well, my mom's Jewish and not Italian, so this can't be true. And we watched The Godfather a lot.
Of course.
I went through a phase in like third grade where I signed my name. First, my middle name is Vincent. My dad told me for a little bit, it's actually Vincenzo, but we said it's Vincent because it's easier. And my mom divorced. I go to my mom. She says, no, it's not Vincenzo. I don't know what the fuck your father's talking about.
Really?
So then I started signing my spelling test, Gianmarco Vincenzo Soresi Corleone. And my mom was more upset than she should have been, but was like, she's a murderer. How can he? And it wasn't until I went to Italy after college, and my dad claimed there was like extended family in Sicily. And he kept like kicking the can down the road of when we were going to connect.
Yeah.
Until I was in Sicily. And my dad's like, I can't find them.
Oh,
and I'm like, I'm literally in Sicily. I guess I'll go to the hostel
look for your roots, and you found nothing.
Nothing.
That's amazing.
I feel like if you did a 23andMe, there'd be a big payoff, right?
Over the pandemic, someone reached out to me. And it's like, it's a Soresi from Sicily. Yeah. And so there's something there.
There's probably some.
There's a pasta called Soresi pasta.
Oh, you got your own pasta. That ain't bad.
My great-grandpa was named Luigi, and he was like a manager for boxers, like a corrupt.
Oh, wow. That's super.
That tracks.
Super
that tracks Italian.
Yes.
Yeah. A corrupt boxing manager. Not a bad path. There aren't many Italian comedians, really. I mean, except for the Sebastian, but people who like really go into the.
They're in there. How often do you headline in Long Island? Is the question.
Oh, I am in a month. I'm kind of nervous.
There's definitely. You go to Governors, you'll meet a lot of. You go to an open mic at Governors.
Okay, that's fair.
You'll meet a lot of Italian comedians. Hear a lot of transphobic jokes. Am
I going to have to hate trans people in Long Island? Is that kind of how I'm going to have to get them? I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll do it, America, if I have to do it. Sorry to throw you under the bus, just for one weekend. Just for one weekend.
Yeah, you'll have a good time.
I'll have a good time. I've never been to Long Island. It seems like kind of like Midwesty, but like in New York. Like it's like rich Midwest people.
There's
it's
an
all
Italian energy. Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, and they're happier ultimately.
Oh,
what's the first thing that someone thinks of? If you say you're from Long Island, what's the first thing that people kind of assume about you?
I think you're dumb. You're trashy.
Okay.
But the Hamptons are rich though. You're like rich trashy kind of.
Yeah.
Like,
but the Hamptons is like a mix of like the elite.
Right.
It's like all the rich. It's like a Vegas. Like it's really there's some of the richest people and like people who
complete
should not be
losers
in Vegas right
trying
now.
to say that they're rich.
Yeah.
Right. The guy betting his last $100 on the roulette table or whatever. Absolutely. Are you from Long Island?
No,
you're
I'm
from New York.
I'm from Potomac, Maryland.
Oh,
Whoa.
Near Bethesda.
Franco goes, whoa.
Crab cakes.
Okay, true. List off what else you know about Maryland.
Old Bay seasoning.
Oh, true.
More crab related.
Steve Blake. Point guard for the Maryland Terrapins when they won.
Oh, okay. Juan Dixon, also a player for the Maryland Terrapins.
Yeah.
Right?
Nick Kaner Medley, the small forward on that team.
All you know about Maryland is the basketball players?
Yeah, Mark Turgeon was their coach.
What about Annapolis? What's in Annapolis? This is a good trivia. This is
what universities? Like Army?
No.
Isn't Army in Annapolis, Maryland? Come on.
No, it's at West Point.
There's a base in Annapolis.
Annapolis.
For sure.
Well, but it's Navy.
Isn't that
Navy's in Annapolis. That's the Navy town.
That's a whiff.
Did you not know that?
No, I don't know any of this
Oh,
shit.
I thought you were from Maryland.
Yeah.
You didn't know the Navy was there?
No, Potomac. There's no Navy in Potomac.
When does your Maryland pride most come out?
Oh, I hate it.
Yikes.
I have zero
like
pride.
that. That's how I feel about being
zero
Serbian.
Pride.
Yeah, you like people who hate their roots.
I think
you kind of
Serbians
like that.
stink. But
Really?
yeah, but about Maryland.
What about Serbian Jews? I did a party for it was Serbian Jews, and all my Jewish friends were like, that's gonna suck.
Can't lie.
Right. They were absolutely right.
I've only met like Russian Jews before. I've never met a Serbian
I've never met
Jew.
a Serbian. I never even
Can't
knew there
imagine
were.
that's
I
a
thought
good
the
guy.
Serbs got rid of them quite a long time ago, honestly, because you're a hateful people.
Yeah, well, I don't know how they're still kicking.
You don't even
but
like other white people who are next door, like Croatians.
That's true.
You hate them, and they're the exact same.
I know. My parents are actually good friends with Croatians. I don't know how they do
You
it.
say actually like it's a miracle they get along.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
I got a pal. I got a Croatian dude I'm staying with when I go back to Chicago.
Oh, good. Y'all can break bread.
But wait, what was it? Maryland sucks?
Is it like a small town? Potomac's small.
Yeah, it's not far from DC.
Oh, it's not
like
far.
it's the 29th richest zip code in the country.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
like it's a good place to go and die.
Oh.
But not a good place to live or grow up.
Right.
It's boring. There's no culture. It's just a bunch of people with money and big backyards that they hire people to clean and then never even walk around.
Yeah.
I'm specifically talking about my father in this instance, but like just rich, miserable people getting divorced.
Right.
And their
right.
lawyers live next door.
Being a goth in like a rich neighborhood must be an odd kind of.
It is
That's
like
a great rebellion.
it's a hot topic goth, which I feel like to a real goth would be like
right.
that's
You're
bullshit.
a poser.
Oh.
So I wore jellies.
What's a jelly?
There was these bracelets, and like Fox News at the time would be like, if you break the blue one, they have to do this sexual favor, and they're doing lipstick parties.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And I'm like, where are
these
the
parties?
lipstick parties? So it was like I was wearing Eeyore shirts, and I had these jeans with chains on them. And my mom, we went on vacation, and my mom hid them from me, so we left. My mom tried to help me.
She tried to get you out of the Jinko jeans, right? Is that what they were?
Yeah, something
They're
like that.
or the pipe
But
jeans or
paint
what?
on it, fake paint, as if I had done any kind of physical labor at any point in my life.
Were you doing mascara? Were you doing any makeup?
I've never been great at it, but I loved how I looked with eyeliner. So if someone could, or after the play was done, I'd leave the wipes.
Theater kid.
Goth and theater, they do overlap.
Are you guys banging as much as people say?
Not
in high school, because people say in high school, like the theater kids after those shows, it's basically they're like it gets wild,
really
gets intense.
It's more like it gets gay, which at that age feels like super intense.
You're singing and dancing. It's like kind of gay.
I think there's a little, but like the sports guys were definitely fucking a lot sooner.
Okay.
And better than me.
I think the theater people were fucking, but they weren't the type of people who you'd want to imagine fucking. At least at our school, no offense to anyone listening, but they were quite ugly.
I just heard
All the theater kids?
Not all, but there were some real monsters in there.
Our monsters, they ran the tech.
That was I think I lumped them in.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The tech
but
guys,
like
the lighting guys or whatever.
I have some joke where I reference like the two lesbians who ran the lighting booth, and it feels like there is a strain of lesbians seem to be part of if there's like theater is queer in different ways. Like there's the performers and there's the people who are teching it, but it's just a haven for people who I think don't fully fit in with whatever is going on over here.
They don't want to be on you don't want to be in a locker room when you're a lesbian in that age.
Yeah,
they're gonna mock you and everything.
Yeah, I think theater kids are just nicer because we were picked on to a degree. There's divas, but I think we're all just like weirdos.
I feel like you were good at theater.
I mean, sure, but that's the problem. You think you're good.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I'm a star.
Right.
I was the lead since sophomore year of high school.
I did Seussical.
Yeah.
I mean, we had to watch Seussical every year. That was one of the worst plays of all time.
You did it every year?
They did it at least twice in high school. It was so bad.
Back to back.
Then we did a Noah's Ark musical, and then it was,
we did like
I can't remember what it was called.
I mean, we should have done some of the musicals we did. We did like Pacific Overtures, which is a Stephen Sondheim about Japan, the colonization of Japan.
Oh, God.
And they put one Asian kid from school into it, I think, to give it some kind of like, it's okay.
But everyone else is white.
Yeah, and in the original,
please, Yoshi, do it. Yoshi's a Japanese name. That's our real name.
Okay.
It wasn't the best name I could have said off the top of my head, but nonetheless, it's what I said.
What about Mark? Aren't some of them named?
Sure.
Okay.
A lot of Asian people change their name. They have two names.
Oh, right. Good point.
Exactly.
I was the freshman in that, which I was the only freshman, I think, or there were two, and I decided to like get some clout by being the head of the accent learning for Pacific Overtures.
To learn Asian accents.
So I poorly, as any freshman actor would do, like read an accent book, and I was like, all right, everyone, let me tell you how to do a Japanese accent.
Oh, yeah.
No.
And there's me and 30 other white kids, and then one Asian kid who's not Japanese, so it didn't make sense to the whole fucking premise. It was even worse in a way.
It's all you could find.
And just I did something called Arabian Nights, where I was an Arabian king.
There we go.
You can tan though.
Yeah, I can tan. That doesn't mean...
tan. You could be like Lebanese. You could be Lebanese.
Dude, that tracks.
Could.
Hey, in the 2000s, you're straight.
You could do that. Until 2015, you could play a Middle Eastern guy. It's done now. Jake Gyllenhaal was the Prince of Persia.
If you want to run it back.
If we want it, Serbia was part of a Middle Eastern empire, so you guys are good. Mm-hmm. The Ottoman Empire. Y'all are good. You got Muslim blood in you.
I can't really tan though like you.
When I was at middle school, I realized that years later, I had a friend who was Colombian. And I didn't really know it. I didn't know anything. I was stupid. And I said to him one day, I said, how are you so tan? It is incredible. I want to be tan like you. And it wasn't until like 5 years later that one day I was like, oh my God. Oh my God.
How are you tan in the winter? I don't understand. No matter what.
When you're a freshman on the like being with all these like juniors and seniors, was that like a quick... Were you like learning new shit? Were you hanging out with them? Were you kind of like, was that your first iteration to like, oh man, I'm going to like a drinking party with these seniors? Or was it kind of, or were they kind of not really cool to you?
I wasn't cool. I think with the theater stuff, especially freshmen, there is a degree. It's like a new comic. There's a degree of like, we'll see if you're here in 3 years before we like get to know your fucking name.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
But whenever you close the show, you do like 2 weekends. You would do a strike that night, and that's where you would take down the set.
Oh, cool.
And it was really fun, and you'd sleep over essentially at the school. They'd have a party at 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
And that's when everyone would get drunk and high, and you were on campus, and it felt cool.
Yeah.
But sophomore year, I was like straight edge for the first year, and then second, someone pulled the fire alarm during strike.
Let's go.
And so there was like a big investigation. And it was like 50 of us in the theater department had all drunk and smoked. This was like tradition. It didn't even feel like naughty. Mm-hmm. And the school, like, first they suspended all the seniors and juniors who were involved, and all the freshmen, sophomore.
For just pulling a fire alarm?
No, because they start investigating. They go, why was the fire alarm pulled? Someone was high. Someone brought edibles. Someone brought alcohol. And so they went through this whole scale of No one got expelled because it was too many. It's a private school. They don't want to fuck up everyone's college acceptance
tuition,
record.
Yeah.
So like seniors and juniors, if you brought something, you were suspended for 2 weeks. And then it worked its way down. They started having meetings with the freshmen and sophomores, first one-on-one, like police, like cops. They were interrogating
you. How many edibles did you have?
People were saying, Gianmarco brought the bottle of Gatorade. And I said, I didn't fucking bring the bottle. And eventually...
You can't bring Gatorade?
Well, it's filled with vodka.
Filled with vodka.
Oh.
God damn it,
I was such a loser.
This is how far off.
That is true. That is true. You're like, what's wrong with brownies? You all have brownies?
Yeah.
And then one day...
Gatorade's harmless. Sorry.
And these theater department heads, they've been doing this for years, so they're going to get in trouble if it finds out how fine they were with all of this.
Yeah.
You know, and they're in their 50s and 60s. This is the job they need to die with. So so they got us all in a room, and me and my friends, we're all sophomores. We're like, we're not gonna rat. We're not gonna rat. And then they go one by one, and they go, did you drink or did you smoke? No. Did you drink? Did you smoke? No. Finally gets to me. I go no, and then it's almost at the end, and then this woman from the beginning, her name is Taylor. She raised her hand. She goes, I had a bite of a pot brownie. And then the floodgates are open wide. And this person confesses. This person confesses. And I'm looking at them all go down. I'm like, no fucking chance.
Yeah.
No fucking chance. And then the head of the tech looks at me and he goes, we know you did it.
Oh, Jesus.
And this is what your parents need to talk to you about, like the law a little more. Because I should have just denied it. I would have been fine. But instead, after this, I went to one of the directors like, I did drink. And I didn't want to say it in there because I just thought it would. I just wanted to tell you.
But as long as you say it, it doesn't matter.
And it's over. And I got put on probation. They put us all on probation because at the time you did not have to tell colleges about probation, so it wouldn't affect us until I was a senior. They changed the rules. So I had to write every college I applied to that I drank on campus.
Oh,
which made me look like, and I was a
barely
nerdy,
drank
barely
at all.
drank, barely spoke. But now these schools, to them, I'm a trouble child,
a degenerate actor.
And we had weed dealers on campus, and it was just insane.
No.
That's so.
I'll never forgive the school for that.
No, that shit used to piss me off all the time because like there was like a rule at my high school too. Like if you got caught at like one of the parties, you had to miss like half the season or something like that.
Did you ever get caught?
No, that's why I would like go to a party for like 10 minutes and then totally pussy out and just be like, you know,
you had like scholarships, you can't lose them.
Yeah, definitely. But like it was just like it felt so.
Would they bus parties like with the cops?
Yeah, my neighborhood police. I grew up in like a nice neighborhood too, so you just like the cops had nothing to do, so they were just like looking for parties and shit like that.
There was one party where like, I mean, it was amazing. It was just like one exit out of this cul-de-sac, and the cops, 6 cars came.
Of course.
Right. Like it's a fucking drug bust. Like it's like you guys had a bunch of coke or some shit. Yeah.
And then they said to me, they were breathalyzing everyone. I had 1.5 beers, and they said, "Do you drink anything?" I said, "No." They breathalyzed me. They go, "How many beers do you drink?" And I still said, in my head, I was going to be like, I drank some punch. Maybe the punch was perhaps spiked. But I said, no, I didn't have anything. And they were like, all right, you can go. And I was like, fucking.
Wow.
That cops never ever
lie to them. You got to lie. Absolutely.
I am interested in one more theater thing is
this is funny because you were like the jock and this is like the side of the world
what
you didn't
I think
see.
is interesting in basketball, it's like
when I was beating you up. Did you like it?
Did you feel pain?
When there's like a beef, I think with any like sports team, like within like the roster, it's usually pretty contentious and like upfront. It'll get settled maybe on the court. What's like during rehearsals, like what's a theater beef like? If you have if you are not getting along with another actor, is it just shit talking behind the back? Are you
do you sabotage scenes?
Like how does that work?
No, you would never get in the way of the art.
Because it's you're rehearsing every day for what, months or weeks, or you know, it's like it must be, and you're spending all this fucking time together.
I think with theater though, the hierarchy is reinforced simply by who's the leads and who's the ensemble. So in a way, like status is maintained even if you don't like the lead, like you have to support them.
Sure, yeah.
And if you're an ensemble member, you just gotta shut up and do whatever.
Right, because you don't want to ruin the production.
Yeah, so there's rarely any real explosions. Like
it's the casting. Casting, that's where like that's the big day. And I mean it's done in the way, I'm sure they still do it. Maybe they do emails now, which I don't know which is better, but they would finally put up the cast list and
they put it on the wall, right?
Put
is
it
that
on
true?
The wall. Oh yeah.
That sounds kind of fun. I mean, if you get it.
If
but
you
that
get
sounds
it.
like incredibly
If you get it.
You kinda-
So it was fun
Yeah.
in high school for me. College, not so much.
Right.
But high school, I was getting it, and it felt
Uh-huh.
amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, the
every
rush.
time.
And to watch, I mean, it's horrible, but to watch the people you didn't like, they go up to the list. You see them go up.
Your coal miner
they go,
3.
They go all the way
Yeah.
down. No. All the way down. Back up. All the way down. You're not on the fucking paper. You're not even in it. You better go figure out costume design now if you want to be involved with the show at
Gonna
all.
make a door. That's all you're gonna
God.
do.
So it's good. This shit prepares you for life in a
Certainly.
way.
For
Certainly.
comedy.
Definitely.
Yeah.
well, at least
Imagine they put up the JFL list just right outside the cellar.
Well, at the place I started in Madison, they had the big open mic every week. There's like 200 people in the crowd, and they would put the list on the wall. It was the same thing, and only like 10 out of 40 people would get up.
Remember Caroline's? Remember that? I hated that year where they revealed one face at a time.
Oh,
They
yeah.
were like one of 10 New York's
One of the
funniest.
9 New York's
Two
funny.
of the
I think it was the year I did it.
I know it was the
think
year you did it. Oh,
Weren't
yeah,
you on it too? Or no, you weren't?
No, that's
Oh,
why I bring
okay.
it up.
I got
I would have enjoyed it if I had been.
right.
Is
I
the
remember
subjectivity of acting versus stand-up close or not at all, really? Just because you can hear laughs like that on a stand-up.
I think acting, there's more range of like where mediocrity can be accepted.
Sure.
I think in stand-up, like obviously there's plenty of mediocre people who succeed, but acting,
Is it just kind of being hot sometimes?
for sure. But I think comics like Seinfeld like shits on acting, and you're like, okay, but
Does he really?
yeah, like it's like Gary Shandling. He like wanted to be a great actor, and I feel like he knew deep in his soul he was not,
He
and that's
couldn't
why
really
he
get it,
struggled
yeah.
so much. And Seinfeld was of like you learn your lines, you're saying your lines, and
Yeah.
it's like okay, but you smiled just through 10 seasons of Seinfeld,
Right, and you're playing yourself.
Yeah, I just think there's always this mix because when I first started, there were some jokes about I was just an actor going into stand up, and I'm like, your dream is to go do a fucking sitcom and ruin it with your shitty acting. That's all of your dreams, wildest fantasies.
Yeah.
So shut the fuck up, because we're both in very unstable art forms that AI is trying to take over as we speak.
Yes.
Are there good stand-ups who are good at acting too? There's gotta be
Oh,
some.
for sure. I think like Gaffigan has
Is he
has
good?
done.
I can never tell if someone's a good actor or not. I have no gauge.
Come on.
of
But
that.
come on,
I mean, I
nothing?
can tell if they're terrible.
You can't
but,
look at. Did you watch what's recent TV shows you've watched?
like
Succession.
New Girl, or I've watched
New Girl?
That's an old
That's
show.
the recent show.
I don't
Wait,
really.
how
I
about
don't really
this?
watch
who
TV.
Who is like a widely regarded, a critically acclaimed actor that you think sucks?
There we go. That's a good
I
question.
can't say it's too.
Not on the pod.
Come on, we'll bleep it out.
We'll put it on the Patreon if you want.
Who's a? No,
I'll tell you a critically
Okay,
acclaimed actor.
all right.
No,
I
because
think.
one pops in my mind really viscerally, and I
Yeah.
can't say it.
All right. No,
Not because we're friends, but who?
You
Yeah,
don't
of
know.
course.
You also don't know when you're
Because
going to meet these
also
people.
it feels really hurtful. It feels like I
You
could
wouldn't
tell-
want
I could
someone
tell you-
to say
What about
yes.
someone who's dead?
Okay.
Okay, someone who's dead.
John Wayne, kind of an asshole, huge asshole. John Wayne kind of sucks.
Did he suck?
Oh yeah, he was
didn't
like
have, like, the
incredibly
gravitas, though,
racist.
like in a
Yeah, but was he a bad actor?
No, but I also think the movies kind of suck. It's always just like he's like a tough cowboy. It's kind of generic and lame. I watched it with my grandpa.
It's so
like,
far
these
off.
suck.
Is Meryl Streep as good as people say? I don't fucking know.
I think she is, but there was some actress, I forget her name, who was basically bemoaning that like Meryl Streep, in a way it's misogyny in the sense that it was like one actress is the actress and all these other
Yeah.
great. We have plenty of great male
She
actors.
wins every
She wins
actress.
every award. Who do we get? Meryl Streep, who's the only older woman who's a good actor.
Right.
And it's Meryl Streep.
Maybe,
so
maybe this might
That's
help
good.
then.
so
What
she's
about-
great in the same
yeah.
way. Chappelle's an amazing comedian, but people who talk about goat, I can't stand goat conversations. I don't know
I
what we're
agree.
talking
Sure,
about.
sure.
What's your top 5? Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Who gives a
Who's
fuck?
your Mount Rushmore, dude?
Well, all these
Yeah.
people got bad. They're gonna get.
What about
Yeah, I
somebody who
agree.
you might be, who you think is amazing, that most people just maybe, oh, that person's in that thing, but you're like, no, that person's fucking awesome, and you don't really, is anyone underappreciated?
Underrated.
That you
Here
think
we
is,
go.
Oh fuck! It's everything. Because the problem is, I don't watch the things I only watch now are like the White Lotus and the Succession. It's the big critically acclaimed thing, so they're all doing great.
Okay.
There's I'll think.
Yeah,
I'll
no
get
worries,
back.
no worries.
Everyone
Yeah.
I know, I watched Hello Ladies. Did you ever watch that? It was Stephen Merchant's show. It was
Oh
like his,
yeah, Merch. Yeah,
I know Stephen
I think I saw the
Merchant.
first episode. It was funny.
I
He's
thought the
funny.
woman in that was astounding. Was like a Julia Louis-Dreyfus level.
I feel like you might find yourself just watching stuff where maybe just like me and Jeff are watching it, and you're catching things that obviously we wouldn't catch, and you're like, wow, that's fucking crazy how they did that. I feel like that probably happens a lot, right?
I'm basically, when I'm watching a movie or TV show, I'm like, oh, they're hot, or oh,
What about
they're
comedy?
funny.
Can you see in comedy? Do you watch any of Community?
Yeah, I've watched Community.
Do you know the bald guy who's actually an Oscar-nominated like writer, the principal?
Oh, the principal.
Like
yeah,
he's
yeah.
like, to me, like comedically astounding.
Oh, so
that's
he's
cool.
really. So I think Chevy Chase is terrible.
Sure, Chevy
He's
Chase
a
is
bad
terrible.
actor. Okay, I could tell I was like, this is ridiculous how bad he is.
Yeah.
And he's like, really, he doesn't look like you hate when a hot guy looks really bad.
Well, now he
Like
does.
he used to be hot, and then I'm like, don't even put him on the screen anymore. Get him off.
Sure.
He's just like, looks like a worm. It's bad.
People don't really have anything great to say about him lately.
He sounds like
either.
he's an asshole too.
You don't like see Philip Seymour Hoffman and go like, fuck, that is.
I don't
Oh, yeah.
feel.
What?
I don't.
Nothing?
I agree.
I like it, but
He was the first guy I cried when he died.
really.
I remember when he died. It felt like
It was the
something.
first celebrity I cried.
It felt like my brain like was like shocked, and I think it was. I know this is not exactly how the brain works, but it's like all the things that are no longer true. Like in my head, I was like, maybe one day I'll meet Philip Seymour Hoffman. Maybe one day I'll work with Philip Seymour Hoffman.
yeah.
Oh my God, I had an acting teacher who brings Philip Seymour Hoffman into class. Maybe I'll be in class one day when he's there. And it was just like, it was my brain reconfiguring. Oh, that will no longer happen. That's never
Yeah.
true.
Right.
He's gone. And it's just someone, it felt, same with like Kobe. And I didn't even care about basketball, but you're just
Definitely
like,
cried when
you're
he
like,
died.
cry when
oh,
Kobe
Hard.
died.
Yeah.
I was always like, I can't. I'll never get to do a speedball with Philip Seymour Hoffman. You know, I always wanted
you have that
to.
feeling of when when Kobe died, when you tell people that someone's died. So for that
Ooh,
person,
definitely.
Kobe's still alive. As far as Kobe ever was
Right,
alive.
yeah,
They
yeah.
never met him.
Yeah.
They never saw him play. But you're going to be the one to in their
break the
brain
news.
in their brain change what they know
That
about
is
the
a power.
world.
There
It's
was
a
a-
weird feeling.
Yeah, I wonder what it makes me like even think like, yeah, do you even tell? Yeah, it just feels weird.
There was
to
a comic
rock
in
someone's world like
Madison
that.
named Nick Hart who had an amazing joke. He'd go on stage and be like, "Oh, guys, Dick Cheney just died, everyone," and then everyone would kind of like cheer, and then he'd be like, no, he didn't, but wasn't that a great 15 seconds to live in?
wow.
That really always got me.
There's a reverse. There's like a TikTok trend now of people being like,
Oh yeah, and people are doing that to everyone.
so their parents, Michael B. Jordan died, and they go, what? And they go, nah.
Yeah.
I
Fuck
hate
yeah.
that.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
awful.
or they'll be like,
But pranks will always exist. Like,
Pranks have fallen off though. Pranks are like cruel now. They used to be like just you do them to your friends. Now you just tell a stranger their favorite.
well, everyone's doing it, so there's no like.
I guess.
And you're gonna get
Dude.
some people with bad taste doing pranks.
Dude, there's
Yeah.
someone from Chicago. There's a TikTok trend where people are breaking into Kias right now in Chicago. Someone we know has been posting about her.
What did
her
they?
Kia got broken into
As a trend, what's the?
It's
Do they?
Are they
It's
putting it
on-
on TikTok? They're gonna get
You know, it's
busted.
like people are posting about it. Apparently, there was a news article
But
that,
wouldn't
that
they get
that
arrested?
she shared.
Wouldn't they get arrested
Yeah, it
if
does
you
seem
posted?
strange.
How could you have a trend?
I just know I saw the article. She
Saw it
posted
on Breitbart this morning.
Yeah.
It's a real problem.
her
Saw
Kia
it
got
on
broken
OAN.
into. She posted the article. I assume that it was a big deal.
Spawns,
I
could you
haven't
look
seen
this
anything.
up? That seems odd. I think this.
Do you
I
ever
can't
type in
believe-
TikTok?
Hyundai
Yeah.
and Kia owners across Chicago latest waves of trendy theft.
It could be a
wave.
trend, but a TikTok trend.
They're not. They can't be posting it online. They would be.
I can look at the article that day.
Well,
Well, you
let's
think his
go.
Google's wrong? Your
Well,
Google's
this
better?
is 5 Chicago. They're targeting older models with a major security flaw that was brought to light through a series of videos. Okay, so it's not a trend, but TikTok started it. They
says TikTok on there.
no, it's social media. They would have never picked. Oh yeah, so someone on social media posted they had this thing, this flaw, and now they get robbed because of it.
yeah,
They're not
okay.
posting like I'm doing the Kia challenge now while they break a window. Okay, that's kind of. I mean, it's almost on
Yeah.
Kia for not doing anything.
767% increase in Hyundai Kia thefts. Authorities blame TikTok challenge. Again, but this is Fox.
A
so.
challenge. No, I mean it is TikTok. It seems like it is, but I don't think people are posting. Yo, just blew up this Kia.
I don't know
I
know
like-
how they're posting.
Do you
it.
like pranks at all? Do you ever like doing pranks?
I think pranks among your friends can be funny. Pranking a stranger, I don't really get why that's funny.
Sure.
Like when people just
Yeah,
like,
Isn't that what Nathan Fielder does? Like, don't you look at it sometimes and go like, aren't you just pranking strangers?
Yeah, but some of these people.
That's not physical pranks where I draw the line.
Yeah, but it's to some degree he's really embarrassing the fuck out of these
Well, I mean,
people,
Nathan
man.
Fielder, it is an incredibly cruel show when you really get down to the brass tacks of it. It's also the only funny thing.
the only
in
thing
world.
not cruel about it is he really is like, I'm not going to make commentary on it. I'm not going to be the one to say this guy's crazy. You're going to watch it, and
Right.
you know the way we edited it.
He does kind of take advantage of poor immigrants, though. That is,
yes.
But I mean, Nathan Field's always an immigrant whose store
He's an
is like
immigrant too, to
struggling.
be fair.
Oh, he's from Canada.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
true. Okay.
So-
Never mind. I take it back. That's true. It does seem like it's kind of like people who don't quite understand.
If he did Citizens,
what's
I'd be
going-
fucking upset.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's true. Now I like it. But am I wrong? It's feel like it's always like some like struggling Persian taxi driver. And he's like, what if we bottled up
I thought they were
piss?
just really tan.
Call back.
Did you ever hear the story of whoever ran what's the hidden camera? The original
Candid camera.
He was on a plane that got hijacked, and everyone on the plane thought they saw him, and they said, "It's Candid camera."
No.
And he was apparently like, it's not Candid camera. And then they landed,
Whoa.
and they landed like, I believe somewhere in South America. And as everyone's being like taken off and they're realizing it's real, they're mad at him. They're like, fuck you. They're mad that it wasn't a prank show, even though he's just been hijacked like
They would have
everyone else.
loved it if
Holy
it was a
shit.
prank,
But
though.
that moment, that's like that Charlie Kaufman-esque moment of everyone's like, it's a prank. No, it's not. It's
That
not
is
a prank.
crazy.
They must really thought he was an amazing like actor. Like, he's the best. He's hijacking airplanes.
But
now.
imagine if you were on a plane that got hijacked and you looked over and there was
Nathan Fielder
Or Ashton Kutcher.
Ashton
Hey,
Kutcher.
Ashton Kutcher
Yeah.
was punking someone. Oh my god, it would be a prank. Oh
Yeah.
my god. On 9/11, they veer away right at the end. Right at the end, the pilots
Right
veer
at the
away.
end.
What? Zing!
You're on
Gotcha.
Candid camera.
You're on Candid camera. The ratings should have gone through the roof.
and they do it to Mark Wahlberg to prove that he would not have done anything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right. What was his? He said he would have.
He said if I was on the plane, I would have stopped it. And if they did that as a
Yeah.
prank, to be like, you see, you
He wouldn't
shit
have
yourself.
done anything. Yeah.
Stand up, Mark.
He's
Stand up for
just
the cameras.
crying the whole time. Oh my god, he's kind of an asshole. He's an actor I'd say, overrated. I know.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely. He's
But
not
he's
a good
known
actor.
as overrated.
Right. That's kind of
You
his
know,
thing,
that's not
I guess.
breaking.
That's not breaking news.
Do you think DiCaprio is a great actor?
Of course.
I think he's good too.
Of course. But like, there's something.
But I don't know. But
when you're like-
I just want. But yeah, I feel like you're affirming some of like.
What about Robert De Niro's great?
Of course.
Right,
Of course.
right. Okay.
Al Pacino's gone pretty rough in his later years.
Yeah.
And
oh.
I had an acting teacher who like studied with Pacino and De Niro, and she said like De Niro had more talent in his pinky than Al Pacino had in his whole body.
Really? I could see that.
But Pacino's
I love
also a great actor. But I
Stories
think,
like that gets me going.
I think
dude.
Robert
love
was
shit
like,
that.
I think Robert was like a god.
I love how you call him Robert. I like that. I like that. Bobby D. Bobby D.
When he did Dirty Grandpa, I said, you know what, you're Bobby to me now. The respect is gone.
He did
Yeah.
Dirty Grandpa.
It's him and Zac Efron. I think it's called
my
Dirty
God.
Grandpa.
Why do those
there's a
guys do
scene-
that when they're like? Why don't they just stop?
You know why
work?
they do that?
I guess
because they
it's
bought
why-
10 beach houses and they're
That's-
broke somehow,
that's
and no one
true.
believes them.
We'll be doing a Crest toothpaste commercial till we're 80. That's true.
He was caught in a restaurant yelling at his agent, like, "This is why I have to do fucking Dirty Grandpa." Like he said it verbatim.
Really?
Yeah, because you make bad investments.
right.
You
yeah.
get 10 restaurants
Spend
and they
a
all
lot of
bomb.
money.
Yeah. How are they? Yeah, that is interesting. I guess some of them are pretty bad with their money.
Well, it's why like Chris Rock did Wild Hogs 2. It's like or whatever. No, he didn't do that one. What was the other? Grown Ups 2. Right.
I think they have a blast though.
They're probably having a blast, but I don't think they think it's good.
Adam Sandler is one of the most fascinating actors because it's a mix of like bad and then sometimes like wow.
He'll turn
what
into
the
some
fuck?
like Uncut Gems. Amazing movie.
Yeah.
I love that movie. But then he'll have some of the worst movies you've ever seen.
But
Jack
he's having
and Jill.
imagine if you could get all your friends for your best buds, you give them each $5 million to be in your movie and you hang.
You just
and
hang
you're like,
out
don't
for-
worry about the rehearsals. This one doesn't matter.
and then the movie makes $100 million.
And then
Right.
the movie doesn't
Yeah.
well.
Yeah,
It's like-
it doesn't have to be good. People just want to see them in a room
But when I was
together.
a kid, I loved that shit, man.
yeah, that's
Because
true.
he's doing the voice. He's doing the like mentally disabled voice. But
The whole
but
time.
because he's not. He's just the weirdo.
He did do a Downs voice for about a decade.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I
Billy
didn't think about
Madison
that
was
till
so
now.
fucking funny, dude.
Is it funny
I
still
never
though?
liked Billy. I never liked
Really?
Billy Madison. No,
Damn,
I
what
was
was
like,
your?
I think like I really liked Waterboy.
Yeah.
It also Waterboy had like a little bit of sex, like right at the time where it's like
You're like, this is cool.
I remember seeing Night at the Roxbury, and I think it's Molly Shannon puts like Will Ferrell's hand on her tit in the jacuzzi, and like that's like the hottest thing.
What's the
Greatest
movie?
comedy
Austin
of all time.
Powers had a
What's
sex
the movie
scene that
where
really got me.
he adopts the kid?
Big Daddy.
Big Daddy.
The opening scene of Big Daddy. That woman shaped my entire life.
Can
What
we
happens in the
find
opening
her?
scene?
Go Big Daddy opening scene.
What's the opening
Girl.
scene? He's having sex with her or something?
Yeah, right there, down.
That's it?
That's the girl.
What's her name?
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Absolutely.
Oh, that is your woman. The God, you've
She
dated.
shaped my life, dude.
Oh, wow. Is that Christy
That
Swanson?
scene in particular where she has her like red bra on and she's getting changed to go to work. I'm like, that's what
I've
I
seen
want.
you date 12 of these women. Oh
And-
my God.
And you know what, dude? I've never been happier.
Christy Swanson. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Good for you, Drago. That's good.
Yours was Molly Shannon.
Yeah, I guess so. That would make sense. That's
Mine
why I'm
would have
just
been
dating comedians
Your
for the rest
first,
of my
your first two boobs.
What was my? Oh, a lot of vagina from Austin Powers. Well, what's her name? Don't you remember a lot of vagina
in the hot tub, right?
The hot tub, very hot.
Oh yes,
Very hot.
What did she do in the hot tub? She's oh my God.
Yeah,
So they're
no-
farting,
dude.
like keep,
Tits
and
pop
their
up.
tits are,
Dude,
and they keep
that
farting.
that scene is also formative. Like your dick kind of wiggles.
I
for the
watched
first
that
time.
scene a lot.
Well, do you
What's
watch-
her name? Fabiano Udenio. Okay.
Swordfish? Did you watch Swordfish at that age?
with Halle Berry.
Halle Berry. I'm with my friends. It was my 13th birthday, and she's suntanning. And first, her and Hugh Jackman, like they're the most beautiful people in the
Hugh
universe. at this
Jackman,
point.
very
At this
hot.
age, they were just stunning.
Yeah.
And she takes down her tanning, and her tits are out. And
Oh,
it's like,
yeah.
and then there's a scene where he has to hack something. And he's like, "This will take an hour," and he's like, "You're gonna do it in a minute." And then a woman comes up and gives him a blowjob during it. So he's like the ecstasy. First of all, I'd be soft as fuck if I'm about to. There's a gun to his head.
Oh, there's a gun
I'd
to
be
his
so,
head?
I'd be so soft. Yeah, I'd be frightened.
Yeah, you
crying.
couldn't. Yeah, you couldn't.
But instead, he's doing it, and he's like, "Do." Oh God, it's so good, and then he does it right in time. And like, the
I
idea,
love that
That's
shit.
getting a blowjob while playing video games, essentially. It's
Yeah.
a
That's
dream.
every man's dream.
It's so
That-
funny.
Every dream.
Always in like movies, especially I think around this time, or a lot of movies have done this, where like the sex scenes are like 9 seconds and the girl comes every time.
Every time. Oh, that's what I thought. That's what I thought.
That's all you do. Like, I guess
thought
that's all
sex
it
was
takes.
9 seconds, and that's what I
Like,
do.
simultaneous orgasms are way more common in movies. Than
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah,
I don't
you're-
think that's ever happened in my life. I don't think
I
I've ever
literally
done
think
that.
it's happened maybe once.
Yeah,
for me.
that's
And
like-
it's like yeah, it's a
Really, you can get to a point where you can time yourself.
I can't.
As you
No,
get older?
I wish I could.
Really? As you
I
gotten
have
older,
I
nothing's
have a
changed?
premature ejaculation problem.
I had it
yeah.
in the beginning. You started late.
Wait,
to be
what
fair.
did
Yeah.
you do to fix it? I actually would like to know.
Well, in the beginning, I tried very unsuccessful. I would do like grandma on her deathbed. Grandma on her
okay, yeah, I
deathbed.
thought
Sure.
about it.
And I
I've
would
done
do
that.
one of the
Doesn't
worst.
work.
I'd be on top, and I'd like reach back and flick my balls.
Oh,
Whoa.
Like just a little bit of pain.
interesting.
Just a little,
Oh.
And at no point did it occur to me at that age, pull out and go down on her until you've chilled.
Yeah.
best.
Like that wasn't in my mind
No-brainer.
until way later, and then I was like, oh,
Interesting.
and they're having fun. They're still getting something.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Um,
You were
Great
hitting.
move.
You were slapping your balls. Did that work?
Yeah. No, it just hurt, and then you hurt and you come too fast. There's so much shame and pain, and it was
Dog.
I love that.
Flicking the balls.
That's kind of fun. It's kind of takes. I couldn't even know if I could reach it. I'd have to.
It didn't-
Well, okay, I could do it.
What is
yeah.
she? Yeah, but what is? I guess she's seeing you kind of put your.
Does she know? Oh, he's doing the ball flick
Unless you're
again.
doing doggy, then you're kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was no doggy in this particular issue. But
No doggy.
there was no doggy.
That seems like a dark reason.
no,
no
just
doggy.
like no.
Yeah.
And I was okay.
Really?
Some people don't like it. I don't know why.
I dated a girl for 2 years and didn't like to go on top.
Who? Oh, the girl from high school or
Brutal. If you're watching this, I resent you to
Wait,
this
is that
day.
your girl from college?
Yeah.
What's
Oh,
your
wow.
What's your breakdown? Would you say? What's your finishing
What's my
position?
thing? That's the thing. I like when they're on top, dude. It's crazy.
Really?
Yeah. It's crazy. I like how that's crazy.
I'm really misunderstood.
So for you, it's the hand job before.
Yeah, a good hand job underrated.
Hand jobs are
A
great.
good hand job is underrated.
What's your finisher?
Doggy.
Every time
You're an ass.
I'm
You're
an
an
ass guy.
man.
I'm an ass man.
I
Why was my first thought a true Italian?
Is a true Italian a position?
I don't know. I said that's a real Italian.
I'll tell you what, I'm not like like my dad is like a legs guy. Like he just will be like, she's got legs for days.
Jewish girls have nice butts too. Let it be known.
Everyone can have nice butts.
Yeah, everyone has nice butts, but I've never heard
Not
that
everyone
one
has
before.
nice butts.
Not every group of people could have a
Sure.
nice butt.
Can I ask this?
There we
Don't
go.
judge. I grew up in a town with a good Jewish population. Went to a bunch of bar mitzvahs and bar mitzvahs. Do you think Jewish people, on the whole, a little hornier early on, a hornier group?
No.
Okay.
I think you think that because other cultures, we don't have like parties at that age, so you don't get to see it.
I just saw an immense amount of like I was just a part of like a lot of because these bar and bat mitzvahs were every fucking weekend, so it was just like you're grinding at an early age like a lot.
I think maybe if you go to, I imagine it's like if you went to a Jewish school. I think the more like incestuousness, not in the literal way, but like you grew up together, you go to temple together, you go to school together, you're at each other's bar mitzvahs. The more you're close to each other, that much.
Sure.
Maybe there's more fucking
familiarity,
in that kind of community.
I'm sure quinceañeras get sexual too. We just never got invited, right?
I don't know.
What age are bar mitzvahs?
13.
Oh,
How the fuck do you know about Annapolis? And you don't know that bar mitzvahs are 13?
there are Jews in Minnesota.
He knows-
Jesus fucking Christ.
The guy knows every Civil War battle that ever happened.
know
He
it's
doesn't know the
13?
age of a bar mitzvah.
I would have said 14. I would have
It's a
said
good
14.
age. I mean,
I feel like knowing bar mitzvah ages is pretty valuable too.
I agree.
That's
I was
crazy
wrong.
to me.
There are no Jews in Minnesota. I mean, there might be if there are.
Yeah, but there's
let
Jews
me
in
know.
comedy. You've been in comedy for a decade now.
Oh
It's
yeah,
time
that's
to-
true. I should have learned. I've been to it.
You've known comedians who've had kids who have had bar mitzvahs at this point.
I lived in
Jeff
Israel
is
for 3
not
months.
interested in anyone else's thoughts ever, dude.
What?
This podcast is brutal
Oh
sometimes.
my god.
If you'll notice, I've asked maybe a handful of questions to you, and Jeff is just kind of staring off into
That's
space.
the job.
the
You're
time.
Larry King. I'm the Ed McMahon. Yeah, come on.
But bar mitzvahs were around the time of like grinding. And like I remember grinding the first time, it was 8th grade. And
Revelatory.
I just couldn't believe she was I couldn't believe this was happening because you're like, I'm literally rubbing my genitals
Best feeling.
against you. And my dad's there, but chaperoning.
Yeah.
What are they playing?
And the parents are like,
Big butts. They're playing I like my anaconda. And you're like, how is this allowed? We all know what an anaconda is.
Jewish? Yeah.
But I the first time I was
How is this
I almost
Jewish?
came. I almost came.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it was so good. It was at that age, it was so good where I was like, come. Like I was like, let it burn. Let the whole world burn down. It was so
Let the world know how
so
much
amazing.
Sharon's
I'm almost envious that you still have an ejaculation problem because it probably means that it's still like really just
It's
You're
fun.
good.
I
Your
can't-
dick is like 12.
It's ready to go. I love
in
pussy
more ways than one.
I love pussy
Yeah.
more than anyone. That's why I come right away.
yeah.
Your dicks are like, I wish it was a butt.
Yeah, dude.
and my dick's
my
like,
dick's,
pussy.
my dick's ready to have kids. Your dick still needs to go to high school.
I'm still at the kegger. I'm still doing
Yeah.
that. Yeah, come
But
on.
you must have gotten better, no?
I've been using this spray and these wipes. It
Really?
doubled. I'm
It
up to about
helps?
40 seconds now. It's low.
Why don't you just go in, go out?
We do that.
Take a
We do
walk
that.
around
No,
the
we do
block?
that sometimes. I do that.
You know what
I
the
call,
first-
I call it the dip and dive.
The
That's
first
what
time I
do.
lasted the
Yeah.
longest, like it was an episode of Will and Grace was on, and I think I was like watching the episode
Yeah.
while I was doing it. And I remember when the credits rolled, I was like, 30 minutes,
Dude.
30 minutes.
and it was a DVD, so it was actually 24, but it was very exciting nonetheless.
It's a really good feeling when you can really go.
I've done it one time. I went over 10 minutes out of nowhere, and I don't know what happened.
One day it'll
Something-
flip. I'm definitely at the flip age where I'm like, all right, Gianmarco, let's get this. I know it's not there yet, but I know I'm on the horizon of. let's just call it a night. I'm not coming.
Right.
I know it's you better find that middle point before you just leap right into
I might
there.
just be like, I'm just gonna come before we even start. You know, I don't even want to get my thing dirty. You know,
My thing dirty. I don't want to shower.
I just showered yesterday, so I don't think I want to.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Would you ever masturbate like before a date, like in high school, like get one out?
Yes. Yeah. Actually, like probably into. Yeah, probably into my 20s.
See, and now I would not masturbate even the day before. Say let's make sure we're raring to go.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah, and again, like
interesting.
it's not a frequent problem, but I'm just like let's be like hot to trot because you get tired these days. If it's late, I just like sex is fun, but sleep is
When I get home
sleep
after
makes tomorrow better.
getting home after a show at 1 or 2 in the morning, I have no interest.
Dude,
in having sex.
You're like I don't have
None.
40 seconds to spare.
I don't-
For you could go to bed right away.
I could fit you in, babe.
I have to admit this. I've never said this
Here.
on the pod before.
Oh.
There's been weekend nights here in New York City. Like I don't know. I've been like on and off with some gals out here. And it's like I've masturbated before I went out on like a Friday night because I'm like I need a good night's sleep. I need to masturbate now, or else I'm gonna call her, or I'm gonna go over to her place.
Wow.
Because if I get a couple drinks in me. I'm gonna
fall
go to her
asleep.
place on like the Upper West Side or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, I can't be like.
I don't want to go to Murray Hill again.
I
Okay,
can't like
yeah.
fucking get drunk and get horny. So I just try to. Is that crazy? Is that wild?
No, that's not crazy at all. But that's good. I'm glad you do that because those poor women, you're leading them on. You know.
Okay, so now I'm the bad guy. Now I'm the bad guy.
I had to do it. You know that's how I do.
No, I know.
There's
But yeah,
nothing wrong with
I guess
that.
I sometimes it's like I guess that's my like me getting a little older. Like, hey, like you don't want to get in this position. Just like
You don't want to go into the
You
swamp.
feel like a real adult as you're like, yeah, right on my stomach.
I'm 30.
So I get a good night's
I'm a
sleep.
mature
Look at
man.
me. Hey, Ma, guess what I did today?
I text you.
I jerked off in the morning.
Some guys do like melatonin and face masks. You're just like, I check off at 7 p.m. to sleep. That's the way
Swear to God,
go.
dude. 6:30.
Oh my God!
Before I go out.
Joe List had some joke about not being able to fall asleep, and his wife said, "Like, did you try masturbating?" And he was like, "Yeah, trust me, that came before this phone call." That was like absolutely, of course, I tried that.
Yeah.
Of course,
I try that for everything.
that's not
Yeah,
last
yeah,
resort. That's like tactic number one. Maybe I'm hungry.
Your
after
stomach
that.
hurts. Yeah, okay. I guess I'll masturbate. See if that was it. You know,
Fuck,
why
man,
not?
It's so true.
That's fun. He's the best. He's the best. What about an underrated comic? Underrated. I'd say Joe. Oh, he's famous, but Joe
I'm a big
List is
fan of yours. I've talked about it. I've
Okay.
said it many times.
I'll
There's a
take
number
it.
of podcasts you'll never hear, but they say like, "What contemporaries do you like?"
Wow.
And I say-
thank you.
I
Thank
feel
you.
I
That's
feel
very
I
nice.
feel bad watching you, which is like the sign.
Oh
of,
God.
it's tough.
Wait till they find out how many jokes I'm stealing. Wait
Uh-huh.
till they Lampanelli. I'm taking Lampanelli's act on the road.
Yeah, you do say the N-word quite a lot.
Did she say the N-word?
Oh my God, Lampanelli's like original career is like you're not cutting clips of that for Instagram for
Really?
sure.
But
oh wow.
Oh my God, I don't think I'm speaking out of turn. This was like
No, it's true.
part of
yeah.
the thing.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh,
Oh, wow.
That's what they say about her on the old roast, like the old comedy
Yeah,
roast, right?
yeah.
Really? Oh wow, that's crazy.
But she was dating them, so
Oh, so that was her thing.
And
oh, wow.
the N-word could come back, and you're back in business, dude. You're
That's
good.
true. Lampanelli could come back. Yeah, that's true. Oh wow. What about you, Drago? Underrated comics. You have to say me as well.
I still think. I don't know if they're underrated to you guys, maybe. But I think Anthony DeVito's like the best.
Oh
too.
yeah.
Would you
Anthony
say
DeVito's great.
would you say
He's
properly?
underrated.
fantastic.
Yeah, yeah.
But what about? It depends on what level you're talking
Yeah,
about. Like
yeah,
I
yeah.
watched,
Yeah, sorry,
I watched
yeah,
Shang
yeah, I
Wang's
guess-
special, and I thought that's incredible. Did you watch
Everyone
his?
keeps saying it's great. I have not
it was
seen
like
it.
it was like if Mitch Berg, if chunks were made
Mitch
of
Hedberg.
Mitch Hedberg.
That's so funny to call him Mitch Berg.
Yeah.
I love that.
But if Mitch Hedberg, like, he was a one-liner guy. It's like someone who took those one-liners and made chunks out of that truth.
Oh, that's
And
wow.
that truth and the twist. And I don't know, it blew me away because it's so different. It's also just so like it's chilled out. Like the flow is very chill.
Right.
And anyone who has like a chill vibe, it's so different from
You don't
what
see
I
that
do.
a lot anymore,
Yeah.
honestly. I feel like people are pretty like there aren't
Because
a lot of chill comics
But I
anymore.
also think that's just the nature of a competitive scene.
yeah,
Because if you're chill, you're gonna bomb sometimes.
yes.
In a bad room,
Yeah.
you're gonna bomb in front of the booker. and then you're not going to go
And you need
forward.
those clips under 60 seconds for reels. Sometimes they can't get to a punch in 60 seconds.
Yeah.
That is honestly probably true. There aren't really one-liner comics. I feel like when I started, there were so many one-liner comics.
But we all have lines. I have
They're
like,
like,
I
what-
have lines.
For
you
sure.
You mean like a
No, I mean like
short
the
form one-liner
No, I mean
comic?
like the guys who would go up there with like not a piece of paper, but basically just like Steven writing it, like just saying like short one-liner, wait 10 seconds,
and
short
I
one-liner.
that because I admire like the math of it.
Well,
I love
I
one-liners.
watch a one-liner, like a one-liner I'll go in the room for. Charisma I don't care about. It's great. But like a good one-liner, I'll
yeah.
sit down and
he
watch
doesn't
that
do
any day.
one-liners, but structurally the kind of joke, pause, joke, pause, joke. It kind of Veeder kind of does that, where it's just
Oh
like
yeah,
joke,
he's kind of one-liner-ish,
joke,
kind of, yeah.
and then joke. It's not necessarily like
That's
very
slower, but it's like I like
Yeah.
that.
But that's
a
why I
lot.
love Jesselnick. I mean,
Yeah,
Jesselnick will just sit
Jesselnick.
back and just be like, ooh.
He's the best.
Good.
He's the best. He hasn't done anything in a
Well,
while.
he's touring. It's embarrassing how much of a fan. So he's touring now.
Yes.
He's slow.
Yeah.
But he's touring an hour now, and he hasn't decided if he's going to do like a Netflix.
But that's
or
why
something
he's
else,
good
but-
because he doesn't have to pump out one every 8 months.
But he
like,
does.
But it's good. Well, he does one every like 5 years, and they're perfect when he puts them out.
Sure.
They're great.
But I'm sure it's like he's got to go. Well, I'm going to be in a different economic class. Like people make more money. Like so other people make so much more money. To be that, you have to be like, okay, I'll make this much money.
Right.
I'll tour once every 3 years.
Yes.
I think it takes. I don't think I necessarily would want to do that
To tour only every
and live
3
in
years.
LA and just do 15-minute spots.
Yeah.
For a little. I like to headline.
Right. Yeah.
You
yeah.
like to
It's
headline?
fun. It's fun. It's the best thing.
Yeah.
It's the best thing in life. Drago, a new headliner,
finally.
did his
yeah.
first headlining weekend.
Yeah,
But you
Yeah,
know what makes me
headliner
nervous?
rips.
I have had this happen a lot recently where I go headline and I feel like a god and new materials click in and then I come back to the cellar
Oh, and it
and
bombs.
even if it doesn't bomb, it's like oh, it's not there. And I go, oh fuck. Did I lie to myself? Am I full of shit?
I just think the bar is lower on the road. They're just excited. People in Indiana are like, "Fuck yeah!"
Sure.
They just
There's
haven't
also-
seen as much comedy, honestly.
Also, yeah, you're following and you're sandwiched between some other people's 10 minutes or 12 minutes,
Right,
Of course. So
yes.
then you're 45, like,
and the pace
following
has to be tighter.
you're following like a feature in North Carolina. You're just gonna look amazing,
Yeah,
I
we're
think
so much
there's-
better, and usually.
there's some chunks where I'm like, this is slower, and I think that's okay, but I can't tell if I'm just making an excuse for the material. Like sometimes I'm like, oh, this is not as like poppy, but that's okay because I want a chunk that's more of this story.
Also,
but
I
then
think
I'm
you're
like,
allowed
am I-
to do that.
But then sometimes I'm like, you're just lying to yourself. It's just not a good
No,
enough bit.
or that joke is
Right.
just that you just got brought it back from the road. That you might just be like a month away from where you want it to
Yeah,
be.
Sure.
Yeah, or you do get I think you get arrogant from the road, and then you tell it badly too.
But that's why I'm always like, even sometimes I'm like, you know what? I want to be done with the spot life. I'm so sick of the stress of it and the
It is
and
stressful.
then I come back from the weekends. I'm like, well, then you're gonna start sucking as a comic because you need the spots to counter the headlining,
Because the headliner, you can take a lot of risks you can't take in a 15-minute
and you have their trust,
and you can do
it's
you can
easier.
dip into crowd work. I don't really do crowd work in spots because you
Me
only have
neither.
15 minutes. Why do I want to? I'll do on the road. I do crowd work all the time, but at the cellar, why would I ask someone what they do?
I also am more confident on the road that I still am always scared the crowd work's gonna go sour.
Oh,
so
yeah,
like
at
on the
the
road, I'm
cellar.
like, well, I have time to gain it back. But at the cellar, I'm like, I'm gonna do some crowd work, and it's gonna be one of those classic. What do? I work at the beach. Cool. So I went to college for musical theater, like a full on.
Yeah.
I do that so often. I hate crowd work because I can't act like it's true what you say. I can't act interested in other people.
But you have,
So
like, the
I can't do it.
You have like the character where you can shit on them confidently, and it's okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm mean and it works, and sometimes I'm like, oh, you work at the beach. Why don't you drown yourself? And the audience is like, whoa, what the fuck?
He was just this happy-go-lucky guy.
Which, yeah. You're Jeff, like, aesthetically is just insanely disarming. Whereas
baby
like,
Hitler
you
up
might
there.
fuck someone's girlfriend. Like there's a chance.
I do not like hurting people's feelings. And there was some I had some joke about not being good looking enough to be a movie star. And then I go into the bit and then someone back, but you have charisma. And I'm like, yeah, and you have a loud voice. And I just saw her not laugh, just go like,
I thought you were the one.
Like, fuck, I didn't mean to like hurt your feelings. I thought you'd laugh at that.
She just wanted to have a good
fun.
night. Yeah.
She didn't.
Like that. But I think if she's shouting, she's not that upset that you know what I'm saying?
The worst audiences are just the ones where you cannot have a pregnant pause because if you let it be silent for too long, they will say something. And you're like, it ruins the whole music.
I think people are. Do you notice people are heckling more recently? I feel like it, or is that just Instagram that's like making it seem that way?
I don't know, but I do. It does make sense to me that everyone's seeing crowd work clips, and I have had shows where people go, "Oh, I thought you talked to us more."
Oh yeah.
And there's a feeling of like no, that was like one clip in a 6-show weekend.
Yeah. And also people forget that the clip that I post, I'm good at crowd work, but there were 5 other moments in that show where it bombed when I did crowd work.
Of course.
It's not funny
and we're
time.
tightening it and cutting it and it's an illusion. I like crowd work, but not at the expense of being able to work on other shit.
Yeah. Crowd work's
totally
great, but you can't just only do crowd work.
When I had like 3 at Side Split, it was like 3 headlining in a day. I had so much time that I felt honestly like a better comic because I was like, oh, I don't need to get to this right this second.
You can be slow. 3 45-minute sets in a day. That rocks.
I'm going hour 15. I'm always trying.
You do an hour 15? Really?
Yeah, and I can tell the last 10, the audience. If I have to do a 45 because of the turnover, I'll always sell way more merch.
Really?
I do an hour 15. I think they're like, we had a good time, and you overstayed just a little bit.
Oh, wow. Hour 15's long. I've only done that a couple times. That's crazy.
I'm doing more. I know
that.
people don't like to cold open a show, but I do like to have an opener do 20 or 25, and it gives me possibly the permission to do an hour 15 to an hour 25.
Oh, because then you have the host and the guest spot. You just do an open. Yeah, okay.
But I also understand why.
It's tough to open shows like that, though.
And I mean, I haven't opened shows except the one that I do, which is like with people who know me.
Oh, it's sad.
But hosting is more stressful than anything.
Yeah.
Hosting at LOL. I haven't hosted at the Cellar. If I was hosting at the Cellar, I'd be more scared to do that than following anyone.
I couldn't imagine hosting there.
Wow. Yeah, that seems
to have to come out at the beginning of that show and they're like all getting seated, they're getting their food. Oh, it'd be a nightmare.
In my head, no one's gonna give me the benefit of the doubt. If it's a tough crowd, people will go, he sucks. No one will go, oh, that audience was like my girlfriend always told me all the time. She's like, everyone knows, everyone can tell that it was a tough crowd. But in my mind, everyone's like, wow.
Right.
Wow.
Well, because
he sucks.
Look at that loser up there.
So many times, like by the 3rd comic, the 4th comic, they start to get it, and the second half of the show is like really good. And when you're hosting, you're like, wow, they think I'm that bad.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
They're like, he didn't get any.
Well, you have to go back. How secure are you in your abilities? Like, do you have dips? Do you have moments where you go like, fuck, I think it's
I mean, all the time, of course. Yeah. I mean, you'll have like 3-day stretches where you're like, am I the best? And then you have a week where you're like, why am I even?
What about you?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like you're like confident.
No, I have bad sets all the time. I get low. Sometimes some of those late, like 1 or 2 a.m. spots at the Cellar, I get really down. Like when they're like talking and drunk, and I'm like, I couldn't get them. I'm a fucking hack. At following Shane Gillis, I often feel like, oh, I'm terrible at this.
I saw Shane do at the VU that honestly, I think it's the best 15 minutes I'd ever seen in my life.
Was it the Navy SEAL thing?
Navy SEALs,
with the Down syndrome uncle.
With that, and then with the accent right at the tail end of he's impersonating him eating pussy, like blue go here, and I'm more like this, and it's a callback to the and
it's amazing.
It really shook me.
Yeah,
it really shook me. And then you go home and part of me is like, okay, I'm gonna change my whole thing. I'm gonna be more like, ooh, said this thing.
I'm going to talk about the war in Iraq, just like him. Yeah.
And you go home and you think like, yeah, and then you go back on stage, you're like, nope, I'm the same fucking.
Right.
You are what you are.
Yeah.
And you can only be the best version of what you are.
That's true. I feel like we've done comedy long enough where we can't really change. Like I did change who I was, but that was like year 3.
I disagree. I mean, Louis' whole thing was that he like made a huge change later in life.
That's true. Damn, that's true.
I think you can.
It's tougher.
I think it's also, I would never say I write on stage. I find it very obnoxious. But I do more like exploring on stage. Yeah. And I think that's made, hopefully, my jokes a little more conversational than they used to be, where they were
It
on
used to be
their
just like
the
you
written
thought,
word.
just going word for
And
word.
after the fact, I'd have to like, okay, how do I make this sound like a human? Because if it's a tough crowd, they can feel that like, here's another one for you.
Here's my
if it's hot,
teleprompter. Yeah.
If it's hot, then the laugh lets you reset in a natural way. But if it's cold, they hear you end something, go, and here's another one for you. And it's brutal.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I get that.
I do think we've got to wind this.
Oh, is
puppy
it
down,
time? Oh, shit.
Once you start talking about stand-up comedy, you go, we got to
Drago's
end
like, we're
the
done.
episode.
Sorry.
Let's do one more. Or we do have to be done at 8. Actually, we do have to wrap it up. Okay, so Gianmarco, tell everyone where they can find you, shows you got coming up. This is coming out next Monday.
Next Monday.
Yes.
Okay, so I find me everywhere at Gianmarco Soresi. I post all my touring stuff.
You post
constantly.
so many clips too. You're one of the more prolific people, and you got good clips too.
Thank you. I was
You got
waiting for the good.
Yeah.
I was like,
you post a lot of shit.
You post the most clips, dude. You're number one in quantity.
But you post jokes too, mostly.
For
which
sure.
is like people post like 7 crowd works a week. It's like cool.
Well,
Write a joke.
Yeah, that's the tough. But I get that urge. Like I look at the clip and you're like, is this funny enough?
Yeah.
And you take strength to go,
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
No, you didn't get any crowd work clips this week, and that's okay.
Right. I
Don't
think you just
force
have
this
to,
one.
I think, don't force it. You don't have to have a banger every weekend. It's just not real.
You can do what you do and just repost old clips. So,
and I just did it about an hour ago. Am I the only one that does that? People do that.
I do it a lot. Like a year.
I
but
wait a
these
year.
Days,
I
someone
probably
else will
wait 6
post
months.
it and get a bajillion more views.
Makes
and you're like,
no
fuck
sense.
it
I hate it.
all. This is coming out this Monday.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll be headlining the Midnight Theater, 2 shows here in New York, February 3rd.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'll be in Charlotte, Comedy Zone, February 8th, Asheville, February 9th, and then Bristol, Tennessee.
Oh, at the Blue Ridge or whatever?
Yes, at the Blue Ridge,
Oh,
February 10th, 11th. But find me online. Listen to my podcast, The Downside. Geoffrey did an
Great
episode.
pod. Fun episode.
Great episode.
Had a good time.
Very, very fun episode.
Yes.
So find me.
Hell yeah.
There.
Drago,
Thank you for
what
doing it. Oh,
we
sorry.
got to
Yeah.
do our thing too.
Yeah. February 7th, headlining the Comedy Bar. Coming back.
In
Chi-Town. Very
Chicago. There we
excited.
go. The Blondes will be there in mass waiting to welcome Alex back to town. What am I doing? I got Fargo. Fargo, North Dakota. It's also called The Cellar in Fargo, North Dakota. February 10th and 11th. Drago, we also have to shout out our 2 new Patreon R-Word subscribers.
Yeah.
Tom Saki, dear friend of mine from high school. Thank you, Saki. And Darren Rivas, 2 new R-Words. That could be you if you join the Patreon. And
Thank
Drago,
you.
what's the new thing we have on the Patreon?
Oh,
For $3.
yeah.
What is it?
The Patreon episode comes out.
No.
Oh, no. The normal episode comes out on Fridays now for
Yes.
Patreon subscribers.
If you pay
Damn.
$3 a
Crush
month,
that.
you can get the regular episodes on Friday. So if you don't want to wait the whole fucking weekend to hear what
The
we've
way
been
you
up
speak
to.
him, he should punch you.
I know.
I mean,
Yeah.
no.
Oh,
Yes,
I do
that
know.
is brutal.
I do know nothing about the pod, so
I have to keep him in check, but I am a huge asshole also. That is true. It's a character. I'm a nice guy off stage sometimes. What episode number are we on? This I actually don't. Oh, 60. We're 60. This is episode 60 of You're an Idiot. 60 episodes, N-word free. Only 40 more till the big party in Little Rock, Arkansas, where we let our Confederate flags fly.
can't wait.
Can't wait. Join us in Arkansas. I believe it's in late October. We're having the big party. Thank you. You've been an idiot for listening. Bye.